Hey, it's Jeff Gibbons here, and this is going to be a song in a day. So what I've got here is a little idea that I started with, spent about an hour on it already, just a basic drum beat that I started messing around with in Machine. And it's actually from an expansion pack called Prismatic Bliss. And what I've got here is the Komplete 12 Ultimate Collector's Edition, also upgraded to that very recently. And I'm going to try and limit myself to just those instruments. And when I say limit, I'm being a little bit sarcastic because it's an insanely huge library. I'm also going to be using the new Cubase 10. Just came out, I just got it yesterday. So let's get right at it. What I'll do is I'll start refining my drum beat with just me kind of messing around. I'll go in, I'll start refining it, and then see if I want to maybe add something else to it, and then look at some of the instrument ideas. And I came up with a simple chord progression, but it's pretty sloppy at the moment. And I've got kind of 3 little sections, so I'll see if I can refine those, decide exactly what chords I'm going to use, and then we'll go from there with other instruments. So this is the first drum beat I've got, which is a Capricorn kit. So that was kind of the basic beat that I came up with. So let's go and see what this pass was. I just kind of went for it. And what I'll need to do is kind of refine this drum beat and still have some variation throughout, but I really want to nail this drum beat down. So let's have a look here. And what I've got here is a drum map in Cubase, which is one of my favorite features of Cubase. And what I've done is I've just sort of made a custom drum map for Machine. And when you make a custom drum map for Machine, what you have to do is you have to go to the drum map setup and change all of the channels. I just change them to any. I'll just add a little bit to this one right here. Want a little bit more of a fill. And then maybe a little bit more kick drum at the end. I like how that's got a bit of a different feel to it right there, starting at about bar 16. So let's check out the arrangement right now. I'm just going to cut it just to remind myself, but let's see where this goes. So there's an 8-bar phrase of this kind of interesting pattern. At bar 15, we're going to copy over what was happening right here. I love this kind of double tapping thing that's happening right there. So maybe we'll just take these first 2 bars, or the next 2 bars, copy them, Command-C and Command-V right at the beginning. So now this next section of the song will be a slightly different, or a slightly modified drum beat. I'm also going to add a marker track so I can start laying out the sections of the song. Oh, we'll see how this goes. I think I like those sections. Now let's see how this drum beat's going to fit with my little pre-chorus idea. Okay, good. And then the chorus comes in at bar 23. I'll add some other kits later to accentuate this chorus part, but let's see if we can nail this down. I like that. Get rid of that kick. And if I wanted to, I could even modify this drum map even more to fit this exact kit. And if it was something I used all the time, I could save that as a preset as well. But this is kind of the kick, and pad 2 is the bit of a rim. All right, so now I've got a real custom kit for this one. And my T just magically appeared. It's amazing how that works. So let's, now that I've got my kit refined, I'll just go back to the chorus at bar 23 and see where this is going. Let's put a little crash cymbal right there at bar 23. Not much of a crash, but it's a little something to start. Could even try it every quarter note. It's kind of cool. Let's do another hit right there. Let's get both hits on there. And let's get some more clicky sounds in here. This is all just kind of stream of consciousness playing, and now I'm just refining it. And I love doing this because sometimes you just come up with things organically with your fingers, and then you can go through it and kind of write the part out and really think it out. But it's so much better than starting like this, where you actually are just plugging things in by hand. You get it in your fingers and something magic comes out, and then you mess around with it and refine it. But the next thing I'm going to do is start refining my synthesizers, which is also just kind of playing random chords, trying things out. And the first synthesizer that I've got in here is Complete Control, and that's the keyboard that I'm using right here, and it's rounds. I'll probably want this one to extend a little bit. And then just go to quantize the lengths of those notes so they all cut off at the same time. Okay, so we've got F, C, F, C. And then the next chord is still pretty much an F minor chord, but it's inverted. And then we have another chord, which is going to be the color chord, I guess. E flat, C, G, and D. So we've kind of got an E flat major 7 chord without the 5th. And then we've got this note in there, the C, which is kind of, I think we'd call that the 13. As opposed to the 6 in this case, with the 7th in there and everything. There you go, that's a fun chord. Just add some interest to it as opposed to just straight old E flat major chord. Okay, so I almost got it right. I'm just gonna quantize it and fix it. So let's just make that a little different for the end. Maybe I'll just cut it out entirely so we can have a bit of a drop that happens here before the chorus. We've got our rounds track ready now for this beginning portion of the song. My next track that I'm going to work on is the bass line. Maybe I'll start over from scratch with that, just so you can sort of see how that process works. right, so there's the bass line. Let's go and refine that. Ooh, and I'm going to shorten some notes and lengthen them to line up with the synth. Like that one. Let's try short on those ones. This one's gonna go do 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 do. That'll be neat. Solo that. And if I extend these out, I bet you I can make this legato. I didn't even show you what patch I'm using. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so this patch here is Razor. It's a Razor bass. So there is the bass line, one of the most important parts of the music that I like to work on. And next I'm going to put some pads in, and actually let's go over that. Let's have a look at the pad. So I did have a pad in here as well. And let's have a look at what pad sound I've got. It is Prism. And I like to color my tracks to keep things clear in the mixer. Let's just delete this pad track and start from scratch. Okay, so I didn't press record, but if I press Shift Star, it does the retrospective magic, which pulls up what you just played, which is a great feature when you forget to press record. All right, so I'm going to go in, refine this pad. I've got it kind of simple, and I'm going to start playing around with some other sounds, and I'm going to punch back in on the camera. So now I'm going to show you what I was doing for the last 2.5 hours. So we had our rounds patch, we had the pad, we've got the bass, and then I added in some of these whispers things, which I might add in later on. Just a really nice ethereal earth patch. So another library that I haven't played around with that much since getting Komplete 12 Ultimate. And yeah, really great patches in there. Then I've got Chords of Banada, which is a hybrid keys patch. So let's look at that one. So there's hybrid keys, and this library is fantastic. If I adjust the blend, you can hear it morphing between the two sides, A and B. I really love the melody kind of instruments. I've just loved those kind of instruments since I began working on electronic music production. And this hybrid keys one has some fantastic sort of melody sounds. Might even go to just that patch to begin the song when I start mixing it and muting things, so we'll see. And then I've got a Dark Dawn lead, which is Analog Dreams, another new library for Komplete 12, and this one is fun, really fun. I've been riding this 80s wave that's been kind of popular for the last 5 years or so in pop music, and picking up my own hardware synthesizers along the way. So let's have a listen to this one. This one has this blend mode that you can adjust right here on Complete Control. So really nice morphing between those. So if I want to do that, what I need to do is activate automation in Cubase. So I hit the W for write automation, and I'm going to start it off a little bit low and press play. And back it off. And then we can go over to the automation lane and see the blend in the automation lane in Cubase itself right here. On this one right here, I've got a rise and hit, which is a library that's been around for a while, but I often wouldn't use it because it would take so long to find a good sound. And so now if you just go through, you instantly get these previews of these hits. And it's so much faster. It's almost like going through a sound effects library. Highly recommend loading the previews and using Complete Control so that you get access to all of this kind of stuff. When I first loaded up Hybrid Keys, I played the first patch, 7th Harps, and I loved it. So it's like I tried a bunch of other patches and I decided to go back to the very first patch. So that's what I'm using on here. I never really thought that harpsichord would be going into this project, but let's have a listen. All right, so that's the harpsichord, and then it's just doing chords on the chorus. I added one more synth on the chorus. That's this one right here. Which is also Analog Dreams. Timeless is the patch, and turn that one off. And I just copied and pasted the chords right from my Rounds Ambrosia patch there. Oh, and then I also have these drops. And for the first one, I used a massive patch. So let's have a look at the break it down. And what I did is I just turned this little chunk into audio, and then I reversed it, and then I kept it playing as normal too. So we get this. And then I added another hit from Rise and hit at that spot like I showed you earlier. So let's listen to how everything is shaken down, and then I'm going to start breaking up the mix and break it apart and see if I can come up with a complete song pretty quick here. All right. I am going to go start arranging this, maybe add a couple more tracks. So I will see you back after that. Okay, so I am pretty much done the song. It's 4:30 and I gotta stop. So it's been almost 8 hours on this song, and I'm just gonna leave it there. I went through the song and extended the intro and extended the verses so that they're a little bit longer and much simpler to begin with. Here's what the intro sounds like. I need some electric guitars, but I don't have any. I can't put electric guitars on here. Just supposed to use Native Instruments stuff. And so what I did is I took Fender Rhodes patch in Contact and I put Guitar Rig on it. So let's bypass it at first here, so you can hear what it sounds like. And I just wanted a nice big crunchy guitar sound, so I put the Rhodes in there with some distortion. A little mallet thing that happens here in the last chorus sounds like this. I also added some synth brass. This is kind of a Juno type brass. That's Analog Dreams as well. I love that sound. It's just classic, and it works really well. I also added one more drum kit, and that was the Astral kit from Halcyon Sky. Give you a little sneak preview of what that sounds like. So here it is. I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and I love the new Native Instruments libraries. They're just so inspiring, so many fantastic patches, and my computer seems to be handling it just fine, my old computer. And not to mention the machine libraries are just, they're just like instant inspiration. So I start with a drum kit, play around, find some kind of groove, and then go from there. As far as new Cubase goes, seems to be working just fine, hasn't crashed on me once. I've been kind of pushing it a little bit harder, and I like how it's all laid out. I love the new interface, everything looks good. And go to gibbonscreative.ca to find more information about what I do. I'm not only a composer, I do video production and photography, and the video production I do with my wife here, and we do all sorts of corporate video work and short films and commercials, things like that. And I'm also a teacher. I've been teaching Cubase for a long time, and I really do like the program. I love that it's cross-platform, and I'm really glad to see the new version is looking so good. And you can click on the next video to see how the song turned out and listen to the whole song. So thanks for watching.